I'm trying to catch up right now. Yeah.
Second.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Williams County Board of Commissioners meeting. It's Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. It's 1:08 in the afternoon. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Present.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Jim Razor.
Present.
Let's move on into this thing. Does anybody have any old business? Any public comment on what we're going to talk about in a few minutes? All right, let's move into this. You're with
Dark Design.
Dark Design.
Steve.
Steve, welcome. Appreciate you responding to our RFQ.
I appreciate that too.
Absolutely. Would you like to give us your presentation?
I kind of try and stay a little informal, but I didn't know how
Well, now's your time. Now's your time. So.
We just asked that you stand on the golden
Yes.
Oh, the golden light, okay. Steve May with Dark Design, local architectural firm. I've been in the architectural business since 1990. Opened up Dark Design in 2004, and I've been doing a project throughout Southern Illinois, Southern Missouri since then. As you've seen in my proposal, there's several projects that you've probably seen in the community that I've done, and I'm very proud of doing. One of the things that we like our business is the fact that we pride ourselves in making a project that's going to meet the standards of what you need, plus improving the quality of the community. I mean, honestly, it's there are things that with architects that you can kind of. The other thing is making sure it's in budget. Obviously, it's a tough thing to make a quality facility in budget. You've probably seen I did the Williams County Morgue out here several years ago. I enjoy Southern. I was born and raised in Champaign. Both my parents retired from U of I, and I went down to SIU. And of course, when they retired, they moved down here. So Southern always kind of been my home since 1985. Enjoy it down here. It's worked with, like I said, a lot of clients throughout Southern Illinois, schools.
Have you had the opportunity to design an animal control facility, something that's similar to that?
No, I guess it's a business entity. I mean, obviously we've done a lot of businesses, and I'm right now. I guess if you want to consider it, I'm doing a police station for West City, so that's not just like animal control, but there is some control there. But
what about what kind of building types have you worked? So this is animal control facility. What kind of thing post frame type of construction? Something similar to that?
I tell you what, I do a lot of Dollar General stores, if you believe that. I've worked with a developer, and we do 10 to 15 of them a year throughout Southern Illinois and Southern Missouri. I mean, we kind of make fun of it. We just take a Lego out and throw it out in the ground and water, and it pops a Dollar General store. So, those are pre-engineered metal buildings, which, I don't know what you're looking at size-wise and the direction you're wanting to go, but very similar. Post frame, is that what you're talking about, steel?
Or wood frame, wood post frame or steel?
Right. And whether it's, we've done some post frame. I don't particularly care for that type of construction. But
I don't much either.
But, it's more to me, it's like, okay, what does the client want? What's going to be best for the budget? And that's really what's, where we've got to line things out. So like I said, right now we're just starting construction on a 10,000 square foot airport hangar, a pre-engineered metal building up in Greenville, just north of Carlisle. Actually did the corporate hangar that's out at Williamson County Airport. Now that was several years ago when I was with a different firm, but we're very familiar with that. Of course, Black Diamond's warehouse, tilt-up concrete construction building, And then, of course, then the part that's next to it, which is the RV center now, that's all pre-engineered metal building. Post and frame, I did the helicopter building for them in the back, which is all post frame wood. So yeah.
Have some nice looking buildings out there. And that the one, the RV building is very nice.
Yeah, it was a monster. Do you mean the original, the concrete, tilt-up concrete one, or just the?
The one that's directly behind the facility.
Oh.
The one that's right next to the motel.
Okay, yeah, because right there's two different buildings
Two
there.
buildings.
Yeah, we did the first part, which was the tilt-up concrete construction building, and that was kind of the Harley Davidson warehouse originally. Of course, you all know they've had concerts in there and pool tournaments and bingo and whatever else they've done. And then, of course, then we did the pre-engineered metal building next to that, which now houses all their they really bring their nicer RVs, I guess, on the inside. So, assuming the cold climate, people can go in and see them.
Jim, you got some questions?
No, I'm good. I worked with Steve before when I first came on board. Yes, we were with the board.
More, yeah.
And we
Had a good experience with
good
it?
experience with them. And I think the building turned out nice.
Yeah, it was pretty simple and straightforward. I mean, but we did, that was a wood construction building. So.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the square footage you guys are looking at, or if you even know, or.
I would think somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 square feet, if I had to guess.
Is that
It's about right.
is that
Kevin?
about right?
I believe so.
We have a rough
Close.
drawing. We may not really stick with it, but we just have to give you an idea. But kind of like the Moore concept, I like the idea of being able to drive through, have the door come down. That way they can unload an animal. And then once the animal's secured, then they can drive on out,
Yeah.
in an area where, things can be washed.
Nice sound.
But it closed, yeah, to where it's closed in case, yes, it does get loose. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Jim, you got any questions?
No, I think, I was gonna ask you to confirm, you're pretty comfortable with steel construction?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it's not a problem. Or wood, yeah, built up concrete, whatever it is, we've done a little bit of all of it, so.
Yeah, you ever done a Dollar General, that's all they are.
Yeah, and I know they all kind of look the same, but they have, I don't know, 7, 8 different prototypes that we've done, and they've all mirror image. And then of course every city you go to has got a different code that they're kind of following, or county or state, obviously. And we kind of wish it would be like a nationwide kind of thing, but it's just not. But and of course the Williamson County's adopted different codes too, so you just gotta get in there and research and change them every time we do one.
What's your workload like? Are you super busy?
This week, yes, but next week, no. It's one of those things that we get some stuff done, we get it off to our consultants, and then we're kind of waiting for stuff to come back to us. So, that's, I'd say we're kind of on the average.
So a project like this wouldn't be
No.
difficult than you.
I think, and depending on design and how quick we get it to you and back, and, we get back information, you're talking, maybe 3 months on the outside to get it all designed, put together.
Yeah, I wouldn't think there'd be a lot of decision making.
Yeah, right. I think the biggest thing is sitting down at the beginning and kind of getting that design together, their minds put together, and decide on,
Do you have teams? Do you have a contractor team that you normally work with on this?
No, I kind of don't like to say this is a good contractor to go with, or this is, because, they've all done good jobs. They've all had some problems, so I might say, you might want to stay away from this one. You might stay away from that one for obvious reasons, but I just don't like to until we get bids.
Right in this process, we'd have to have all those bids would have to be competitive.
Correct.
We wouldn't have to do individual contractors as far as subcontractors.
No, you would do it.
General contractor.
Yeah, my guess is you guys could do an RFP out with the assistance of whoever the architect is to create that general, and then they're responsible for it.
Yeah, so we'll put the drawings and specifications together if we get the project. Then we send it out to, once you guys have approved it to go out to bid, we put all the drawings and specifications together, send that out to the contractors, the bid rooms, which all the contractors are, connected to that bid room, so they see every time something comes out. I get a list every day of new projects that are going out from Southern Illinois Builders Association. So we put a pre-bid together, meet with the contractors. We not necessarily, since it's a brand new site, we don't necessarily have to, see what's there, but meet and kind of discuss it. Over that next 3 weeks or so, they give us questions. If there are, we clarify or make an addendum to the contracts, documents, send that out. We're here to open up bids with you.
Yeah.
We make a recommendation at that time if things fall in budget. You guys are, ready to move forward with that. And then once, then we're involved as much as you want after that, which I assume you probably want full services.
Yeah,
An architect to,
Site space.
there's a big shop drawing process to make sure that they're installing what we show on the specification. If we try and throw something through that's not supposed to be, then,
That never happened.
no, absolutely not.
Never.
So we're there from start to finish.
Gentlemen? Brett, you got anything to ask? Well, Mr. Mayor, we appreciate you coming in. Thank you for the presentation.
Like I said, I appreciate the opportunity and look forward to working with you guys if you choose us. And there.
Well, we're definitely going to keep it in the county.
Good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good. I wish a lot more would. So, okay, well,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Take care. Nice meeting you guys.
Don't forget your
Thank you. I figured that once I got outside.
Okay. Are you next?
I guess so. Think I'm the only one left.
Absolutely.
Hi, guys. My name is Lacey Young. I'm from Architechniques. We obviously submitted a brochure of our work to you guys based on your RFP for a new animal control facility. Our firm has been located in Heron, Illinois for over 30 years. I myself have worked there. I'm now in my 17th year. So in our firm, we have done everything from quite a bit of work right across the street here at Williamson County. We've done a lot of courtrooms and some ADA things for everybody here. We've also done a lot of just general business, rural healthcare, other government entities. And then based on what you guys are doing here for a new animal control facility, the closest thing that we've done is actually we are in bidding documents at this point for a new animal control facility in Heron. So we've got quite a bit of experience in all sorts of different construction types. I tried to highlight a few in our proposal brochure to show that we've done different sizes and different construction types. We're pretty well familiar with all of them. I mean, like Mr. May said, we're here in Southern Illinois, and in Southern Illinois, you see all sorts of buildings, just any sort of construction idea that you could ever imagine. So, yes, so ask questions.
Could you tell us a little bit about the facility that you're building?
Sure. So what that started off with was actually a feasibility study. They knew that they were in need of some additional space for a few different reasons. They're just general space, the public access. Some of what they have currently wasn't meeting current codes, kind of current guidelines by the Humane Society. So we worked with them on two designs. The first was to just renovate and expand their existing facility. And then we also, with not having an actual site in mind, drawing a new and planning for a brand new facility. We ran budgets for both of those. Obviously, those were just estimates of construction cost. Presented them to their board, and then they went and they made the decision, and they have decided to go to a new site and build a whole new facility, because then that way we could fully address all of the issues that they were having currently. So, like I said, that was approved, I think, last month. So we are in the middle of bidding documents. We will do all the documents along with our engineering consultants for their new facility. That facility was designed based on three things. One, surveying their current location. Two, looking at the facility in Benton, which was one of the more recent ones that had been constructed in the area. And then sitting down with their animal control board and then also just their staff that work there on a daily basis to talk about what works in your building, what absolutely does not, what do you hope for? So that's how we've kind of addressed that. So we're in bidding documents right now, which means that probably, I think I may have put a date in there, but I'm not sure. I think that by May, it will be out for bid and hopefully under contract with a contractor.
What do you estimate the cost of this?
I cannot answer that, Mr. Atkinson, unfortunately. My business partner, Steve, took the majority of that one, and so I would have to look.
You can't blame me for asking.
No, oh, for sure, absolutely. If I knew, I would absolutely tell you.
Yeah,
I just don't know off the top of my head.
yeah. Well, this is a nice looking facility. And, I like that. I'm sorry, go ahead,
It
Jim.
will depend on your involvement again. You've been through a lot that we're getting ready to go through, so what do you know now
Sure.
that you would make adjustments that we have no idea? Just from going through the process so far.
I think that, I think at this point, we know some of the questions to ask. We also know some of the questions that we don't need to ask at this point because Steve has now very well versed in the Humane Society guidelines. Things that I can be honest, while I have a dog and I love my dog and I pay for my dog to go to daycare, I haven't gone to the animal control facility here at this point. Obviously, if we get the job, that will definitely change. But at this point, we have been able to do the research through the Humane Society to kind of understand what is just the bare minimum. You know, some of the bare minimum stuff is just public access, like you guys were discussing, the Sally Port, so that you can very easily bring in an animal that maybe isn't doing so well, that you don't want to get loose again, without putting the other animals in jeopardy, whether that is from violence or also just from health issues. So we also learned that, that you've got to, you have to make sure that you have two very separate areas for healthy animals and animals that are not healthy, because you can contaminate that very quickly. Another thing that we have learned is how important your mechanical system is. So meaning that you're bringing in and exchanging air the proper number of times, because then that helps with both the animal health, the overall smell of your facility, and also the enjoyment of the people who work there day in and day out, and just the people who have to come in, to look for their own animal that's maybe lost. So that's just a couple of things that I know we hadn't thought about previously.
Is this facility that you have, is that a post frame? Is that
It's post frame.
post frame? And then what are the materials that your cages are made out of? So,
I'm not 100% sure. That's again, I'd be happy to share that with you. It was a decision made based on the Humane Society and then also the owner's wants. So
The one that you visited or
extinct.
in,
Mhm.
okay, is that different than the one in Franklin County? Is that different?
That's right, okay.
That's right.
Okay, totally different. Okay.
and that's the one that you went looked at, Kevin?
I've been there several times. I think Jim and Terry went there
We went
5-6
there
years
one
ago.
time,
Yeah.
A few years back.
Yeah.
One of the things I did notice, and it was just, you don't know until after things are built, the little ins and outs. But we noticed that when we were there, that, they got it designed where they could hose out the material out of every stall and everything. But due to that, the hinges on the gates rust.
Sure,
So is there anything that,
absolutely. So that's material
That
choice at
kind of-
that point.
yeah.
Is to try and make sure that whatever we're using in the kennel area to, whether it's just the general construction around it. I know a lot of times we're looking at concrete block. You're also looking at metal just because of durability. But metal brings rust, metal brings other issues. So it's just making sure that you're choosing the right materials, both in specification and drawings and shop drawings during construction, to make sure that you're getting things that are stainless, items that are going to hold up to the everyday, not just the washing down and chemicals, but then also just the everyday, just the power that goes into it. How many times a day do you open those doors? How many times a day do those cages get opened? Things of that nature. So yeah, it's absolutely, the cleanability is a very high issue in these sort of situations for both the animals and the staff. So, and then also just if you plan it right and you design it properly, or as properly as you can at the beginning, and you think about these things, then the maintenance over time is not as big of an issue. It's just the general stuff that, it's 10 years old, we're gonna have to we're gonna have to do a little upkeep on this. We're looking at a little paint here, maybe whatever that might be, but it's not gutting everything and overhauling. So,
As far as the project this size,
sure.
what's your schedule? How, are you busy? Are you covered up?
So, no, we're nicely busy at this point. We try and make a very concerted effort that even when we see things like this and, you know, we get reached out to by other folks, is that we try and weigh, what do we have going on now? What do we have going on in the future? If we bring a new client in and to get a new project, I don't want to make you guys sit and wait for 6 months for me to have a free afternoon to talk about it. So us being here means that I would be, you know, if you told me next week or whenever, we would be ready to go. My firm has 3 full-time architects, myself, Steve Sims, and Kurt Orso. We're all local Williamson County people from birth till now. And then we also have a full-time architectural intern who helps us with drafting. And then we also have a full-time construction observer. So we try and make sure that everybody is busy, but that nobody is covered up, because then we don't do good work for our clients. We are not happy people. We've been there and done that. You know, we all have families, so we try and keep ourselves pretty balanced.
So you would also, one of the things that you could offer would job site.
Absolutely. Yes.
And then,
So, and what that looks like, it depends on the job. But it's at a minimum, our job site observer would be there 1 time a week, at a very minimum. He would be there on site. It just depends on what's going on. There are times and jobs where he's been there 3 times a week. And it's about where we are in construction, what kind of a project is it, the size of it. John A. Logan College for a while, he was there every single day because that's what the project required. So other things are a little bit more cut and dry. I'm doing a large clinic in El Dorado. He's there 1 day a week. So that's just depends on what you all need.
I mean, I doubt it would need a lot, but the foundation and
Certainly, and that's the thing, he's always there for the large points, site work, just making sure it's generally looking good. Anytime there's a concrete pour, absolutely, rough ends after plumbing, to check and make sure that we are on target, because we certainly, it's happened that we haven't been. Just kind of like the major milestones. And then myself, I try and check in at least once a month. I get his reports every week, but I try and check the site once a month myself, just to kind of keep a pulse on everything. Especially when I'm the one approving pay requests. I want to know what's going on. Have they completed the 25% of the work that they're going for? Things of that nature.
Jim, you got anything?
That's good.
Jim, you got anything?
Yeah.
Brett, you got anything? Well, Lacey, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for the
Appreciate
opportunity.
Appreciate this project.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a good afternoon.
Well, we're back, we're fortunate now. Somebody from Magmar's not here yet. Would you guys like to move on down and we'll bring them in when they get here?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going down, yeah, we'll go down to the regular agenda items. We have a hyper reach invoice, and I talked about this at the last meeting. The county, in cooperation with ETSB, the 911 board, they pay the majority of the hyper reach costs, but we agreed several years ago to continue to pay $4,000 amount, and it's time for that amount to be paid. We have an invoice here.
Mr. Atkinson,
Yes.
I'd like to share some stats with you. Just
Okay.
put together in reference to that, please.
Oh, so, okay, it's relevant to the building?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, HyperReach has, since June 1st of my appointment, we've had 200 user-initiated mass notifications that have gone out. We've sent out 5 iPods using HyperReach, and currently to date, we have 2,339 subscribers. And our current community partners include the City of Heron, Bull Valley Water District, City of Johnson City. Carterville will come on board as of 1/1/24. We are in talks with the county clerk's office, how we can support them. We are going to send our first for the county clerk's office in reference to election day. And the Marion EMA is a participating community partner. So in roughly 7 months, we've sent out 200 user-initiated notices.
That's incredible. You might want to talk to Ms. Grimes.
Yes,
She has a big presence on Facebook. And
Shared it.
she has.
she has, okay, well, good, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
And that be used in conjunction with, if the recycling is closed.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're not currently doing that right now.
And
They all, let us know, and then if it's in time, we put it on the website.
sure, and if
Other
it-
than holidays, sometimes Progress Fork has other days that they are closed, not able to pick up material.
sure, if you know ahead of time, send me an email and I'll do it. Otherwise, a text message from you to me would trigger that event and I'll send it
We'll work
out
it out.
immediately.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have this bill, we have a motion to approve this payment,
I'll make that.
have a second,
I'll second.
roll call please.
Tim Matheson?
Yes.
Jim Marlowe?
Yeah.
Jim Razor?
Well, Engelmeyer has come in. Mark, are you ready to present? Or Ed?
Yeah.
You would, we have a golden X here for you guys. Golden X. Yeah. Ryan, thanks for coming in, appreciate it.
Thank you.
His license on Friday.
Yeah.
Again, you're not, you see it.
Yes.
You're not, yeah. I could have changed professions.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
So Mark, now is your opportunity to address this.
Well, appreciate the opportunity. We don't have a formal presentation, so we just thought we'd come talk a little bit about Eggman Architects. If you're not familiar with us, we are a firm that's been in Southern Illinois for over 60 years. We've been located in Harronelle for 7 years before we were in Carbondale for a period of time. Firm name has changed over those 6 years. It's been Eggman since 2000. I'm currently the president. Ed Kirshner is one of the vice presidents of the firm. We worked all over Southern Illinois in a large, diverse project portfolio. Worked for a lot of municipalities. We've worked for county governments. We've worked for federal authorities, agencies, and state agencies as well. A lot of work in Southern Illinois that ranges all the way from Cairo up past Effingham, even to Springfield and Peoria as well. We don't really have a specialty or a niche. We've kind of found success in a lot of different markets. We've done schools, higher education, Run Lake College, SIU. We've had retainer contract at SIU for 10 years. We've done military facilities, we've done emergency rescue facilities, as I said, municipal facilities. So it's been a nice, it's a nice portfolio. It gives us a lot of experience, a lot of different areas. We can bring that experience to all of our companies and make all these projects successful. Ed is currently working with Washington County. One of our clients, we've worked with them in the past. To talk a little bit about what's going on there now.
Yeah, we're working with them on their new ambulance facility. We started working there about 4 years ago. They were renovating their existing courthouse. And at the time, the architect that they had on record was one of the business. So, our engineers that we had worked with, they brought us in to help out. And, had to go through some major redesigns, but ultimately turned out to be a successful project. When they were looking for architects, they brought us on board, and now we're currently working on their facility.
Yeah, I know you were looking for animal control. One of the projects we had in our handout submittal was a recent project we did in Anna for pawns. Pets are worth saving, some no-kill shelter. Project was unique in the fact that they didn't have all the money up front. They had to do it as they got the money, being a non-for-profit. Carrier relied a lot on charity, donated labor as well. We helped them as much as we could with our services on that. That's about a little over 7,000 square foot facility. It's post frame structure, slab on grade. Worked with her quite closely to understand her needs in that. Very cleanable surfaces, complete epoxy floor, even flash coated up the walls so she can really close down any space she wants. The walls are a fiberglass reinforced panel that interlocks, so she can go all the way up to the ceiling with high pressure spray. Really take care of all the material and all the filth and keep it clean. HVAC was well attended to because cross-contamination of viruses with the animals, the feline intakes and the dog intakes had to be kept separate so we could quarantine the animals. So we had to be careful with cross pollution with the air control. So there's a couple different systems and how they're ducted, UV and ionization filters put in there to help kill all the airborne viruses as well. And of course, people control, keeping people out where they're not supposed to be, keeping animals where they're supposed to be, doing environmental protection.
You said that was post frame?
It was, yeah.
So you guys work in post frame often enough to know?
We do. Post frame's a unique type of structure, and I've talked about this in a couple different jobs too. It has its place. Sometimes it may not be the right fit, depending on what's going inside. You may end up spending a lot more work making a post frame structure work to what's being done inside. It worked well for this.
Yeah, the pictures that you have, very nice.
There are outdoor kennels, and she is fencing in an outdoor yard.
Do you do outdoor runs?
We have one section outside that's an outdoor kennel.
Mark, this is Kevin Harris, he's I don't know
Yeah. Where if somebody comes in to see a dog, visit facility, we can take them outside of that area. Let the dog run around with them, interact with a little bit. In our design that we proposed, we've got actually 3 of those outside runs. There are 3 separate areas that are covered, but they are outdoors just for people to come visit dogs.
Then I think it's a salary port type of situation.
Yes.
So
If they have, we didn't get to close it, they had a lean-to that they could bring their van into, and then they had a direct access into the intakes and quarantine locations, so they could put the dogs in there as well.
Are there certain areas on here, on this one here, that you would make some better designs or improvements?
I was just down, I saw Carrie last week as I was driving through Anna, I stopped in to see how I was doing. She said, everything's working great. She told me she wouldn't change a thing. That's her quote. If it was, I'd love to hear from her what it is. I know she didn't get everything done in the first step that she wanted to, so there's still some areas she's trying to furnish out as she gets money. Closing in the Sally port or the lean-to would probably be one thing that she'd like to have done.
I know funding might have been a factor.
Is a big factor for her. And all her kennels back in the large dog area. She wanted hard walls, concrete block with fixed gates, and she hasn't gotten there yet either. So she's using a lot of portable metal partitions, which they work well for a while, but as they age, the finish starts to wear off from the animal waste, and it starts to get to a cost.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we would want, would be concrete block construction.
Epoxy all the way up.
Epoxy,
One change we made during construction, I think was great, is originally she wanted area well drains out there, large drains to catch sediment. It was changed to a large trench drain down the middle, and that's worked out a lot.
Just curious, I mean, does this require any sort of sewer retreatment?
We looked into that as well, and when we contacted the county and the city, they said they treat it the same as big houses. We thought we'd have to have a sediment basin that had to collect it. So it's no different. Okay.
I assume there's sewer that runs out. I don't know, honestly.
To our facility now,
No.
the new location.
Yeah.
and not, we'd have to.
I mean, being on 37, I would say
Yeah.
Mhm.
Will the board have some capacity
Yeah.
that stuff?
I assume the highway
The highway
department.
department here, I think, it's in Amherst right there.
I've never known them to have a septic.
Property located, it's just north in CIPS or immigrant skating, just across the street, and just
Just north of the cemetery.
south of the highway department.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I've asked everybody else, your schedule, you guys super busy?
Well, we're blessed. We have enough work right now. We're not over busy where we can't take on more work. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here talking. We don't take on more than we can do. Our schedule, we've got a few jobs right now that are probably will come off the books next couple of weeks. So yeah, we'll be ready any chickens in the works.
Excellent. And you'll offer job site supervision?
Yes.
On-site supervision?
Ed
It
or
would be
myself,
full-time, it would be full-time.
sure,
Just,
Ed or myself will be involved in the project from start to finish. That's one thing that I was as a principal is always involved in every project.
Yeah.
Sometimes more than one. Even when Ed runs jobs, I'm always looking over his shoulder as well. But, you know, the observation on the site, you know, we're close, we're in here, you can be there quickly. I know all the funds are local, so you can all say the same thing. But yeah, we're very accustomed to doing multiple weekly visits.
you guys got anything else for these guys?
The other, we do brought up the point, I mean, I guess working with PAWS, I guess you're, very familiar with any regulations that the state may have.
Yeah, so the Department of Agriculture has regulations and facility licensing requirements. And we've went through all that.
Sounds good.
Got everything on my list.
Got everything on your list?
Came up in conversation.
Legal? Okay, Mark, we appreciate you guys coming in. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
And glad that you responded to our request.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks.
It's good seeing you, Jim. It's been good seeing you. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been.
Yeah, did you guys get everything?
If you don't mind, we're just going to.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good seeing you too, man. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. Do you want to talk about these RFQs, or did you want to think about them, or
No, can we get through this other stuff?
let's get through the rest of the agenda then? Just making the offer.
I mean, it's like.
Yeah, we have. That's good, you,
Yeah,
John?
that's fine.
We have a mayor network invoice. So we've got 1, 2, 3.
There's 2 invoices, each one's 2 pages.
Each one's 2 pages. And guys? Any thoughts, questions, concerns on this?
I think this is all what we need, I mean, as far as
It's,
everything we thought we would need.
Yeah, I think we discussed this pretty well last meeting. This is
Okay.
just the official invoices. I would doubt, and I have not come to James, so this is just kind of a gut, but I doubt that this is the last invoice we see on this, because the way this project's gone, I would not be surprised by something else coming up.
I agree completely.
But I also, by my numbers, we still end up with a lot left in the line item that we set back for this. So budgetarily, I think we're in good shape to go ahead with this.
It's just a hump that we have to get over.
It is.
Yep.
And this is what it costs to fix the mess. All right, that being said, does anybody make a motion to approve these 2 invoices? Do we need to do them one at a time, or do them both at the same time?
Do them both at the same time.
Same time.
I move that we approve the 2 invoices from Air Networks to fix our networks.
I'll second it.
You want the numbers?
Yeah, let's put the numbers in that motion first.
One invoice is for $41,502.43. The other invoice is for $101,943.17.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tim Anderson.
Yes.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay.
Jim Rader.
Yay.
This past week, I got a call from Sheriff Deeger. He has a couple of employees that have been notaries for quite some time, and as luck would have it, their bond was paid and bought through his company. his insurance company sometime before Sheriff Lee was ever elected, or he probably thought to be elected as sheriff. He raised this point with me because those two notaries are new, and they need to be renewed. And I asked Brett about a legal opinion on that. Zach, could you share with us what that?
Yeah, I think due to the fact that the sheriff still has an ownership interest in the insurance company or the insurance business, that when our office does the notaries, it's a three-year notary, insurance package altogether, et cetera. I don't think there's a lot of money that's made on this, but I think it does create the appearance of a conflict of him sending people to his own subsidiary company. So my recommendation would be that we do seek alternative notary services as opposed to using his agency.
So that's that. I don't know if it requires a vote. That's what I'll tell sheriff. Just see if someplace else. And for the record, the total amount for the two notaries, they're $30 a piece, $60 total.
Yeah, like I said, it's not
But
much.
it's the appearance,
Yeah.
you know, it's just the appearance of it. And so I will get a hold of the sheriff after the meeting and relate to what we said. Health insurance, and Julie just walked in. I think Julie emailed you guys the letter about the health insurance and the significant increase in cost.
I sent it to Rick too.
Send it to Rick too. We offer three different plans. And three plans, I guess, Julie, they're all the same type of plans.
They're all OAP, which is open access plan, so they all still have the same deductible, same co-payment. And this is just health insurance, like, no matter what plan you have here, you'll always have the same prescription drug, dental, and vision. So it's just the main medical.
So really it was choosing one company over another.
Exactly.
But the plans were exactly the same.
It's just HealthLink is only
Well,
offered.
okay, so I'm getting a hand raised by Sprint.
So they're not the same, or if they were, they wouldn't be three separate. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
So recently, the state of Illinois chose to go with Aetna for the retiree insurance, for instance. All the retirees who complained said that their list of network providers for Aetna in the local areas in which they now live are diminished. And so they're crying foul, that they're saying, there's only one doctor I can go to in the county, and before I used to be able to go to 4. So that's where I think we're gonna have to dig into the details between, right now it's HealthLink, Blue Cross, and Aetna. And I can tell you that there's gonna be different levels of providers within those,
So you're talking like a preferred provider as opposed to.
well, potentially potentially just an out-of-network provider. So you could go, for instance, Aetna could say Heartland Regional's in network, but Blue Cross could say they're out of network. Or, pick whatever doctor. I'm not saying that that's where it's at, but I think you need to look at that comparative to see who is a covered provider and who isn't a covered provider, because you could be forcing people to go somewhere else. Keep in mind that the collective bargaining agreements, 2 of them require an insurance committee. Both the FOP and the operators require an insurance committee for any changes. AFSCME requires a 15-day notice and discussion, and then 773 says substantially similar. So again, there's a lot of things involved with this. I don't think it's looking at a pure number that we can say, well, let's reduce it to 1 without doing the research and setting the committee to have that discussion.
Well, and once again, my intent on this today was just to start the conversation. I had no intent of bringing a vote or asking for a change. We need to start this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers themselves, go to 1443 to 1330 to 1214. So there's a reason there's a difference. I just don't know without getting into the plan details as to where the county wants to. to go with this.
And this, my understanding, this is going to be fluid or dynamic or organic, whatever word you want to use. We are in a location where we are losing doctors. We have doctors closing practices and leaving. We have medical providers that are changing hands, one to a company out of state that is coming in. So we also, whatever changes we make have to be as short a term as we can get away with, because it's going to change on us faster than we can keep up with it, is my personal opinion. This is going to be an ugly mess just because of our location and what's happening to our medical care in general. We just need to be diligent in trying to keep up. I think it's going to require a lot of conversations with all of our partners on both ends and just communicate as clearly as we can.
We have got to communicate.
Speak and listen.
Yes, we have to listen, we can't just make some kind of decision. We have to listen to that. So you guys are aware of this, I'm not sure about, Julie, was there a timeline, date on this?
No, I mean, we'll sign our renewal, like open enrollment for insurance where, you know, they can change plans, will start May 1st. So it's for a whole month.
Jeez. Yeah,
I mean,
And I actually got our rates early. Normally, we don't get them until, you know, really late, but this year I got them really early.
Julie, you said that starts May 1st. How long does it run?
It's a whole month, it's through May 31st. So then that gives us June to change everything over and their insurance starts July 1st.
I mean, just on single for HealthLink, it's a 12% increase. For Blue Cross Blue Shield, it's a 22% increase. And then Aetna's the cheapest, as far as an increase goes, it's 6%. So, I mean, that's just single, that's not even taken into, and then we've got caps on there for the employees, within the collective bargaining agreements, and we're almost at, if not going to exceed. So any additional increase on a monthly is going to the county coffer as opposed to a shared element with the employees. I guess the only good news is we do have collective bargaining coming up with a lot of the contracts, but it's a substantial, I know when we dealt with the FOP arbitration a couple of years ago, we had calculated the family benefit cost to the county. And it was an additional $21,000 that employees were receiving if they elected to go with family coverage, which is a substantial you add on top of salary as well. So certainly something that the county, I think, needs to take a strong look at.
So that being said, what exactly would we need to do? What steps do we need to take now? Julie, do you have any?
From the union side, we're advised that we're setting a committee, and we need to have those committee meetings in a relatively quick fashion if we're looking at potentially making any type of change, whether that be staying with CMS and changing, or whether that be changing to a different provider altogether.
Yeah.
That needs.
We can always give CMS 60 days notice too, just because we re-sign with them, doesn't mean we have to stay with them all year.
Okay. These meetings, will these be in a closed session, as a labor negotiation?
No, I mean, with the insurance committee, and expenditure of funds, I think they would just be an open meeting, open conversation, almost an open forum, as to what's going on.
Okay. Julie, be aware that we will start those as soon as the meeting is scheduled. Okay. Anything else on health insurance? Julie, do you have anything else on health insurance? Okay. Letter of support for the Shawnee National Forest. Jim, would you like to tell us about that, please?
Yeah, I've been
Thank
in
you.
contact with Justin Lawrence. He emailed me a couple of templates that have been used. They didn't turn out real great, I guess. I don't know, it's just the format, the way he sent it. But, basically, we have a template, and I think it was Stephanie, I forwarded to Stephanie, had you send it to both Tim and Jim. A template from Saline County Board, it's a template from the Polk County Board, and from the Village Board. Talking with Justin, we need to be careful if we submit a letter, which I'm in support of crafting a letter with the help Brett, that, where we send it to, as far as drawing all the attention, to the issue. We just have to be careful that we don't draw too much attention to where all of a sudden the other side, if you call it the other side. With the part where the powers in being, unite and push this through. You know, so I'm in favor of drafting the letter. I think where we send it, I think is another idea that we have to talk about. Because we're all in favor of this not happening, but the fact is, in the state of Illinois right now, powers that we, think we have the opportunity, or actually, it's not the state of Illinois,
It's a federal government.
federal, they may have the ability to shove this through if a lot of attention is brought to this.
Rich, you had a comment you'd like to?
Well, I think he started to hint upon what he was actually talking about. The agenda item is letter of support for Shawnee National Forest. But from what I take from your last comment is it's in opposition of it becoming a national park. Correct. Okay. That's what
That wasn't clear, okay.
I wasn't for sure exactly where.
This is kind of coming from the last meeting that we had with Justin, maybe you weren't here at that time.
Well, we had the meeting where they made the presentation, and then we had some conversation after that about some of the detriments that would potentially, evolve from that. So that's what I.
Yeah. So I asked Justin, he said he had some templates, and I said, why don't you just send us some templates just to see what the other counties or villages sent. He sent them.
So I have to ask, I am not in favor of that. As a matter of fact, I had 2 calls today from hunters, and they said, we're gonna lose our hunting if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not at all in favor of that. But if we're gonna write a letter in opposition to becoming a park, if we don't send it, then what's the purpose of writing this letter?
Well, depends who we send it to.
Do we lose control of it once it leaves this office?
I mean, it's gonna be more decision. I'll send it where.
So I had a conversation with Mike Boss's office, not with Mr. Boss, but with his office. And their message to me was the group that wants to see the national park is unorganized and small. And that the more attention that comes to this in general actually gives them traction.
Okay.
That if we want to craft a letter and post it locally, that's one thing. But that if we send that letter to DC, it starts other wheels into motion. And then it may turn into something that we don't want it to be.
Exactly.
What was my understanding from my conversation.
Now, the other idea would be to craft this letter, just send it to Justin and his group that he can have with him when he goes to another meeting. And he can say, just like I'm showing here from Saline County Board, and from the Village of Goreville, the other county, Polk County Board. And he could have ours along with those.
I'll go along with what the board wants to do on this.
Because I think we're all in favor.
We're all in
of
favor.
not
I think
becoming a national park.
we're all in the same place on this.
Okay.
But just remember, once it leaves this office, we have trouble.
Does the board need to do, though, a resolution as opposed to a letter and then send the resolution? Much like we did, I think Commissioner Razor, when he first came in, we did a resolution about, I think, Second Amendment and those things. Is that what you're envisioning of this, or? I guess
What would be most effective, I guess, would be the question on that.
Are we to that point, or didn't we just last week or week before had a letter of support for ag?
Yeah, and I was thinking, Brad, I was thinking letters.
And that's fine, I just,
Right,
just wanted to see where you guys wanted to go.
not to
with
the
it.
point of resolution.
Okay.
And I would feel comfortable with a letter of support now, and again, as I spoke with the congressman's office, if this continues to grow and we need to do something else later, then maybe we get to the resolutions.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Absolutely.
So who were we writing the letter of support to? Because what entity is forming the opposition or the desire to maintain the status quo. I mean, the other one, we know we have a clear organization that is pushing it, but who do we have that we know is leading the charge in opposition?
And it's not an organization, it was explained to me, it is 3 individuals.
Okay, but
Yeah, I get you.
so that's just trying to figure out who it's addressed to, because
Yeah.
Congressman Voss, clearly his office doesn't want it to him.
And
So
that's
then-
where Saline County's went to.
So then who else do we send it to?
What if we just send it to that trail riders organization
Yeah,
that's running point on all of these meetings right now?
that's
At
kind
least have
of.
someone to send it addressed.
I'll send you his email, Bill. You can.
Sure.
post him.
For now.
They were addressed to my boss.
So Jim, since you were their contact person, you want to put that letter together for us?
I'll draft something, I'll write on it, and, have it where we take a look at it. Approve it. We'll do it.
Okay, from comment? Moving on. We'll go down to miscellaneous. Ashley, did you have something in,
I've got one other thing.
on what item?
Well, it could be under miscellaneous.
Okay,
I also had Stephanie forward an email to you from, Rudy Potteroff with the Partnership Development Manager. And this is, he sent this email and he's talking about how Williamson County is one of 10 entities that has been, selected statewide to receive a $750,000 in grant funding for this. It's almost, let me just read this to you. My name is Rudy Potteroff, and I'm in Partnership Development Manager of the National Fitness Campaign. I'm reaching out regarding the Illinois Fitness Court Campaign and priority grant funding for Williamson County, Illinois. Coming out of the pandemic, organizations like the World Health Organization, the CDC, and state health departments around the country have made it clear that consequences of physical inactivity and associated mental and economic, and along with associated with mental and economic costs. This is an urgent problem, and the costs of managing this growing epidemic are absorbing city, county, and school budgets in one way. National Fitness Campaign is responding by building public-private partnerships and help fund, design, and promote outdoor fitness courts, which are now open in more than 400 cities nationwide. We will be awarding $750,000 in grant funding to qualified communities, and I'm pleased to share that Williamson County, Illinois, has been selected as one of the only 10 priority funding locations in the state. You have been instructed to see if your community may qualify as a leading partner in the 2023 Illinois campaign. So I didn't know if there's any interest. That was the text of the crux of his email. And if so, we can bring him in and let him listen, or we can listen to this, what it's all about.
it says grant funding for Illinois communities would be awarded over the next 60 days.
Correct. And we have about 30 days left.
And the feasibility process begins with a short 30-minute briefing call during which you and key administration will have a chance to program grant funding qualifications. For joining the campaign as a possible leader in the region this year. So I would think, yes, let's bring him in,
Or at least get him on the phone. So-
Yeah. right? So we
I
can
will reach out
we can
next to
set
him and,
see if he'd take a Zoom call.
we'll do that. I'll reach back out to him.
And we want to get 750,000 if possible.
I'm not sure what the fitness campaign is all about, or what this entails, but we'll listen to the guy.
I think the city of Marion's pursuing it as well, so
Are they?
it might be that we can cooperate.
Okay.
We have one in Fawcett Park. It's part of the inclusive playground. On the side, there's 6 different machines that are permanently fixed that any age group from 2 to 100 could use.
So I'm assuming it could go to any park area.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure our directors talked to Mr. Palmer as well. But I don't know if other park districts or anybody has.
Well, I mean, we have parks all over the county.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if Aaron or anybody else.
Actually, did you have something for us?
Yeah, I've got a few things. Oh, man. You have a road project? There's one right there. Okay. I guess I'm acting on Travis's behalf. This is a road project, payout for Baxter Construction. You'll notice the date on here is February 16th. The reason why it's so late, there was Travis may have brought you up to speed on this. There was a lien waiver which they were running on that was holding this up. Baxter has not been able to obtain that, so they backed that out of this, and this has been reduced by that same amount. So this request, and this is pay application number 13, covers the period of November 19th of 22 through February 16th of 23, $1,287,403.17.
There will be at least one more.
That's
I'm
good.
assuming, there's one more little bit.
Yeah, so I was involved with that back and forth discussion. They provided us, some conditional lien waivers, and they provided us some unconditional lien waivers. There was one that they simply haven't been able to get, and we said, well, we're not gonna process this until we get it. They said, well, can you just back that amount out? As well as the contingency that we've backed out. So there's still 10% as well that we held of the final amount due, so.
How are they progressing on getting us the legals on ground?
So that's the reason that we held the 10% as well, is to make sure that all of the legals and all of that document is good. So
Have they given you an end date on that?
the last time that we had talked, they were still in conversation with the owner on the corner, trying to sort through that. And so that was the reason for us really requiring the 10% was to cover that. So we've also had a little bit of conversation recently with the state about prevailing wage, and Travis and I are trying to sort through that a little bit, but it's no board action.
Okay. All right, well, we've already approved that, haven't we? I'm ready for that.
Yes.
That's already been approved, so all we have to do is sign it.
Our enterprise fleets that we received is all road ready. I don't know if you looked in the back of the parking lot, there's 8 vehicles that are sitting back there that are all ready to be shipped somewhere. The original plan was to consign those to Enterprise, allow them to sell, and then apply those funds to our agreements. I wanted to confirm that that was the intent still, that we do not want to surplus auction any of these or take bids. Okay, so I'll need Tim to sign it. There's a consignment auction agreement and an agreement to sell the vehicles, and this is something you've already asked Brad. And this is good. The only one that's a question now, there's a Ford Fusion, it's a 2015 model, that's 15 or 16 model, that's low miles, that now Alex does not need.
That's not part of this?
Well, that's not one that I've submitted to them as of yet, because we just now got, all of his vehicles. Is that one that would you want to consign that one as well and let Enterprise handle that? Or do you want to do a surplus?
It wasn't, it was not part of the original.
It was, it's one to be, all of these are to be replaced. So there's 2 Fusions, then we've got a brand new truck, but Alice is still driving the Fusion. But there's another Fusion that's sitting there because you've got the 2 Escapes, plus the truck that's already, in place for the assessor's office. So they still have their complement of vehicles. So this one needs to be disposed of. The question is do you want to just let Enterprise handle that one as well? Or
Are
do
you
want-
asking because it might be valuable, is that what you're saying?
Well, you might be able to get it. I don't know the parameters of a surplus auction. I don't know if you can set a reserve. Obviously, I think you have to take sealed bids, how long that process lasts. And, do you want to go through all that effort? That's a question for you to answer. If you know, or
Well, I
Whether or
thought,
not they wanna go through
or,
it.
for getting maybe $1,000 more, or a few $100s more, or $1,000 less. Is it worth just saying here and let them handle it, apply it and move on?
originally, we weren't going to handle any of those because they all were high mileage and they needed to go.
And all of the other ones are. All the other ones are 100,000+ miles, have mechanical issues and everything else. This is the first vehicle in which it's actually roadworthy, I guess, and can be done. But I thought before just shipping it off, I better ask and make sure that everybody was still on the same page, because Commissioner
They'll
Razor,
still end up just sitting around.
that's fine, okay. I will take care of that. So, I need signatures. Commissioner Axon on those. And then the final thing, I guess I'm requesting, I need, hopefully if possible, I need a board meeting sometime next week, prior to April 1st. I'm going to be sending out my mobile home bills instead of using a June 1st date, which has been the normal course by statute. I'd actually like to move the date back to July 1st, giving those individuals an extra 30 days instead of, you get 60 days normally. April 1st, you send them out, June 1st is the payday. I mean, many people who live in mobile homes don't have the means necessary. The statute for penalties is obnoxious. It's $25 per month on those individuals. Some of these bills are $37. And yet if they can't pay it by the end of the 4-month period, they're having to pay us $137, which is insane. But again, that's the state statute. So I thought if I could request and move the date back to July 1st, that's not going to give them a 90-day period. Plus, it'll either be exactly $100 at the time of the tax sale or 75. I haven't set my tax sale date, but it may reduce it somewhat. So I'm trying to give them a little bit of relief. But because the dates are being changed from what statute says, I have to have a resolution adopted by the county board specifying those dates. But it's prepared. You can look at it. State's Attorney's Office put it together. I mean, we have the template because we do this every year for real estate taxes. So it's just been modified and changed to mobile home and then showing the due date being July 1st. So, I mean, they vetted it, sent it over. It's good to go. But again, it requires board action. And for me to be able to meet my April 1st deadline to send them out and provide that time, I would need to have a short, very short meeting just to have it on.
Okay, I've got something else I need a meeting for next week. Why don't you plan on Wednesday afternoon?
This Wednesday.
Yeah, the 29th. Is that-
I think Jim's out of town. I mean,
Okay, all right, so then, that's right, you're going the 28th and the 29th.
And I knew that you were going to be out of town, Jim, so that's why I brought it here for you to review, because just in case, if two of you were willing to adopt it, that would get me by and let me move on. That's why I wanted to get it in your hands, and the state's attorney's office was kind enough to oblige and meet the timeline that I gave you.
How about, I can't, well, if we do Thursday, it'll have to be in the afternoon on Thursday. I have a solid waste planning meeting that I must attend on Thursday. So could you do a Thursday afternoon?
You know the time. I'll be here, or I'll have carried one of the two. Well, I'll have it presented to you.
Okay, I'll have another, we need to third one that else. Jim, are you free on Thursday the 30th? Or you get enough time, right?
It's done. I mean,
Okay.
I'm assuming you're gonna approve this, so I'm gonna start printing. We'll start printing next week. We only have 1,800 bills. I mean, it's a small amount. We get them done in 2 days. But I mean, as long as I know that we've got a date set and it's gonna happen, then we can go ahead and start printing and have them ready to go and have all the dates on there.
Thursday at 1 o'clock? Thursday at 1, Jim? That's good? All right, Thursday at 1.
Like I said, I just gotta have a resolution on file before April 1. because I didn't want to do it after the fact.
Yeah, we can't sign that.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I wanted you all to be able to read
Grant,
it.
did you need to see this?
No, but it needs to go on to fortune, and there's no item fortune.
Right, yes. I just wanted to bring their attention to it, make sure that I could get it on there. And
Sure.
If Jim wasn't going to be able to attend the meeting, allow him the opportunity. That's all.
We'll do it. Do you have anything else?
No, that's just my notes.
Okay. All right. Ken, did you have anything you want to talk about? Yes, sir. Okay. I have just, Jim, you have anything to talk about?
One thing to bring up just for discussion, not for action, but our progress report recycling contract expired yesterday.
Okay.
It automatically rolls over to a month is my understanding, but probably a good time to get with them and see if we can get with them the next 30 days or so and talk about the future.
Stephanie, could you send them a letter, please, for us? Thank you so much. Is that it, Jim?
That can be it. We got a meeting next week. I'll be good.
Okay. All
I
right.
think that's what we've done, and it worked out really good.
I couldn't be happy, guys. I could not be happy.
The little shelter that we got out there for worked out.
Okay, Mr. Mayor just came in, but before we do that, I want to talk about, real quick, the energy transition grant. And I've asked you guys a couple of times about some ideas about what you'd like to do with it. And I have, at a meeting this morning, we came to this over Greater Egypt. One of the things that may have become apparent in my conversation with you is that it might be time for us to think seriously about hiring a grant writer from this county. And then these funds can be used to pay a grant writer. The funds are about $62,000. That probably won't cover the entire cost, but that would get us pretty close. This grant has the potential to last at least one more year, about 2 more years. So we can fund that office almost completely through this grant, with the exception of whatever employee benefits we. I personally, my opinion is that's what we need to do. We can't vote on that today, of course. But guys, I've got to have some direction. I need some direction on where you want me to go with this.
Well, I think we do it just like we do anything else, is just we
If that's,
put a request out, right, you know, people be interested, put it on our website, anywhere else that we place something like this, and then pick interviews.
so what will happen here is that we have to come up with a plan of what we're gonna do with the money. And that plan has to be submitted by the end of May, like May 20th or something like that. I think I sent that email to you guys. But prior to that, we have to have a public meeting. And Carrie is, at Greater Egypt is going to help us with that. We'll have to send out some letters to some interested parties and all that, but we need to have a plan. Okay? So at the next meeting, I'll have this on the agenda. That's what you guys are thinking about doing. Otherwise, bring me something else so that we can talk about this, because we're going to run out of time with this. And once again, that we're in this grant, and we're going to get this grant with the potential for 2 more years after this to get this money.
That's a concern for me because in general practice, funding a salary with a grant that's going to expire on you is not good practice.
And normally I would agree with that, Jim. In this particular case, part of the grant writers, part of what this person will be doing would be also administering grants. And they would be writing grants not just for the county, because there would be other grants for other parts of the county that need it. They would be bringing in portions of their salary through grant administration. So I agree with you completely.
And a grant writer was on my short list for this grant.
Oh, okay, good.
It was on my short list, but in my research for that, these people don't exist.
That is the problem.
They're not out there. And if they are, they're already gainfully employed. And this could be a real
And I will say,
And again, I'm for it, but I think this is gonna be a tough nut to crack.
I will say this, about 2 months ago, I had someone reach out to me who is employed as a grant writer right now. And this person was asking if we were going to open up that grant writing position, because they would be very interested in it. So we may have somebody that's actually ready to apply for it. Hey, okay, so I think the potential's there. So the way this would work out is we more than likely, we don't have to spend the money quickly. We have to have a plan. And then the plan has to give dates of when we see this happening. And it will extend beyond our next budget cycle. So if this is our plan, we can also budget the extra cost. Okay? Just giving you guys a heads up on that. That's where we go with that. I had nothing else. I have nothing else for this part of the meeting. You guys have anything that you want to talk about?
Just one thing to add to health insurance. I checked to confirm, health insurance levy is limited to P10. It's not an uncapped levy, so when you're factoring in increases, you're going to be capped, by what P10 is.
Yes, cap on detail.
So if you're talking a 20% increase, if you've got caps and everything else, you may not be able to levy enough to be able to absorb those premiums, and those are going to have to come from, the corporate side, or pull out of corporate
Well, it will have to
to
come.
be able to offset that. So just, in budgeting, that's, you have to, communications, you have to keep that.
Okay, you guys have anything else? I would like to go into closed session now.
Are you guys going to address animal control RFQ, or we're gonna have discussion?
You guys ready to
The only
discuss?
reason I ask is because we've got timelines that we're trying to comply with our RFQ. We indicated that we're gonna bring them in and
Make a decision?
make a decision, notify, so I just.
I'm ready to make a decision right now. You guys are.
Volunteers.
Before we move, I know James snuck in on us.
James is the reason why we're gonna go into closed session.
Okay, all right.
So, I'm ready. If you guys want my name, it could be the last,
We're gonna go talk about a closed session or?
no, I don't know, we can't talk about this in closed session.
Okay, all right.
I don't need to anyway. My pick is gonna be, Hagemeyer Associates. That was my choice.
Mine as well, just because they've been through the entire process.
Mine as well.
Okay, so we're having a choice then. That good?
Yep.
We need to vote on it?
Yep.
Okay, I have a motion.
So I'll make the motion and then we, contract with Meyer Associates, architects to help design the new animal control facility.
So,
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yes.
Jim Marlowe.
Yes.
Jim Razor.
Yes. Tim Jarvis, we have all kinds.
Oh, I'm sorry. We need to go into closed session now?
Yeah, pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2, C8. I think with the cybersecurity involved.
Okay, this is what we talked about. That one also.
If you're gonna have any conversation at all about health insurance or the collective bargaining, then it would be also C2.
So I thought maybe we wanted to talk
And
about.
that's fine. Yeah, so both C2 and C8 would be the two essentials.
Okay, so we need to make a motion to go into closed session.
Yes, please.
I'll make that motion.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yes.
Jim Marlowe. Jim Razor.
You want me to go there? Yeah, I'll go there. Hey, Becky, can you, every so often, can you hit,